This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Boulder, Colorado. I am here at Rodwin Architecture. Since 1999, this award-winning firm has been providing creative excellence through sustainable designs. I'm here with Scott as well as his team. Scott, thanks so much for joining us here today. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You found your degree there at Cornell University. It wasn't short. Until 2006, you were named Young Architecture of the Year. You have continued to really head up a team that has been awarded throughout the years. Share with me a little bit, we're talking about 2 decades ago, how this all got started for you.
Sure. I've been an architect for 25 years. Founded Rodwin Architecture in '99, and we're a 12-person design build firm here in Boulder. We do work all over Colorado. We specialize in green custom homes, but we also do offices, schools, churches, retail, restaurants, and things like that.
Wonderful. Regardless if it's residential or commercial, I mean, really at the end of the day, what you guys provide is helping folks build their dream. I would imagine that's something you don't take lightly, considering that's pretty important to folks.
This is the most important investment for most people in their lives. The most amount of money, the time, and where they're going to be living for much of their lives. So we do, as a team, we look at every aspect of it, and we take it extremely seriously.
Absolutely. I mean, let me ask you this. Folks out there, they probably have a piece of property. They may know what to do with it. On the other hand, they may wonder, what can I do with this property? What is possible? Share with me a little bit what your feasibility consultation takes care of in helping those folks.
Certainly. We do a free feasibility analysis for people where we actually take a look at the property and help them to understand, will what they have in mind match up with the land, their budget, their schedule, and all the main considerations. My team takes a careful look at all the considerations of the project, the site, the budget, the schedule, and what the people are really looking for in their home to make it the perfect place for them. A custom home is totally different from a spec home. Most people live in homes that were designed for other people, and there's a fundamental difference of moving into a house where everything is custom designed just for you. How you operate in the world, the amount of privacy that you like, the sustainability that you're interested in. One of the things that makes us unusual is that we're able to create what are called net zero energy homes. It's the highest bar of sustainability. We actually just finished one that is a regenerative house, meaning that it makes more energy than it consumes. Colorado has been a leader in the country for creating green homes, and what we do is creating the greenest homes in Colorado.
That is wonderful. So we're talking about out on the site there, what takes place? Are we talking about on site, you're actually going out there checking it out? And does this end in a report that basically is clearly communicated what can take place there?
We're out there every day. As much as we're in the office, we're on the job site. And that means that we are constantly checking the design intent and carefully checking schedule and budget, all those primary considerations that Scott mentioned, to build the greenest home possible and catered towards our client and their overall how they intend to use the house.
Excellent. But you have taken place in projects really across the nation.
We do work all throughout Colorado and coast to coast. About 95% of our projects are here in Colorado, from Fort Collins to Denver, all the way up to Aspen. So we're happy to work anywhere in the state.
Not only on the planning end of it, feasibility on the front end, what about somebody who's looking for really a turnkey solution? We're talking about complete management projects, total development. Is that something that you have gone into as well?
About half of our clients are from out of state, and they don't have the ability to be here to manage the entire process. They're typically professionals in their own right and are very busy. What we bring to the table that's a little bit unusual is soup to nuts turnkey development. So we do the architecture, the interiors, all of the engineering, and the construction management. They hire one firm, single point responsibility. When they hire us, we take care of everything.
Speaking of taking care of everything, quite honestly, you have residential or commercial, small projects, larger projects. I see it that it's very important for you to have your hands in all the details as well, making sure that you're overseeing the team.
We sat down and decided what we wanted to be as a firm. One of the most important things was the idea of crafting our buildings. And when we found that when we delegated out different parts of the responsibility of building the house, that much of the craft was lost. When we sit down as a team and we work on the design of the details and the construction and put it all together as a single package, the craft is kept intact. We're also able to manage the process for the client. to a much greater degree than when we were separating out all the different responsibility. For the client, they're going to be dealing with one team from start to finish. We pass it around the office, but you're going to be seeing the same person at the beginning of the project and at the end of the project, which means the original design intent stays intact from beginning to end.
Interesting. I mean, you said basically the craft. It's almost basically an art. When we look at your projects, you look at your work, we see a lot of the traits like that of beauty, simplicity, creativity. One of the traits would be that, like you mentioned before, sustainability. It's even more than a trait to you. It's really the value that you really have formed this whole company around.
It's a core value for us. Sustainability has become important to pretty much everybody in Colorado to one degree or the next, but there's a healthy competition between architects and builders and folks all over the state to see who can create the greenest buildings, the most sustainable buildings. The question has always been, can you do it in a cost-effective way? Can you do it in a beautiful way? Can you do it in a functional way so that there are no compromises? Our houses are always striving for that optimal balance between all of those pieces so that when someone walks in, they say, oh, what a beautiful house. And then the homeowner says, yeah, and it was a budget that I anticipated and approved of, and it came in on time. And then they say, oh, and by the way, we have no energy bills.
That is amazing. Let me ask you this. Obviously, as the world continues to go green, Boulder is at the forefront. As a matter of fact, the whole state of Colorado. But also, there has to be some pretty strict rules and regulations when you're jumping through those hoops. Share with me how your team, as well as Scott, has been able to educate those here in Boulder.
Well, we actually teach a class in the city of Boulder called Understanding the Rules for Building in Boulder, and that includes a lot of the sustainability factors. We have a great team of consultants and a lot of expertise, and so we bring that team together very early on in the process in order to make sure it's an integrated solution. And we also have a lot of rapport with the county and the city and the different building departments around Colorado in terms of help shape those codes, make sure that they're functional, make sure that they aren't overbearing, make sure that they work constructability-wise.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys not only making sure that everyone else is understanding what those are, but you were really there at the forefront when they were maybe laid out as well. You hear a lot about holistic medicine. I mean, to me, I kind of see this as holistic building. I mean, really, what you're really doing is it's a whole system perspective. Share with me what that means to you.
Our team sits down and does an extensive interview with the client at the beginning of the process to find out what's important to them, what their priorities are. Some of them are fairly obvious, such as I want a room this big. I want 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and it has to support my family, and here's the way that we make it work for us. But then they're also going to ask for other things. How will it feel? How much input they want on the creative process, what the sustainability features are that are most important to them. And we sit down as a team, and we weave together those strands into one complete design from the beginning. We don't overlay. We don't say, here's a design, now we'll hand it to the engineer to go and fix it and make it energy efficient. We actually design it specifically so that it matches those. For example, we very often have houses here in Colorado that have a big view to the west, the mountain view. A lot of our clients will say, we bought this land because we want a mountain view to the west, huge view, and we want it to be a passive solar house because we want it to be green. Passive solar and west-facing views don't work together because the house overheats in the late afternoon sun. So we work with the design from the very get-go that actually orients the house to the south, but frames one very important view facing west to capture that big, important view for them while still maintaining the passive solar aspect.
I mean, you guys have a lot of moving pieces to take care of. Not only you're dealing with the client, you're dealing with their needs, what is possible, but you're also dealing with Mother Earth, really. Quite honestly, you're a building that works with the world instead of against the world. Was that an important piece of the puzzle for you to get involved with this team?
Yes, absolutely. I think that sustainability is a shared goal of everybody in this office. We all really enjoy the fact that we are contributing something positive. This is definitely a process. There's no easy answers, and we enjoy that discovery and working with clients to specifically meet their needs. Design build is where you bring the architect and the builder together in the beginning, and with that we have all the pieces and parts we need in order to bring the project in on time, on budget, and a high quality that then also carries through the design intent from what the owners wanted in the very beginning. Design build brings together Rodwin Architecture and Sky Castle Homes in the very beginning.
Excellent. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you can take a little bit closer look at the firm profile there. Also, take a look at the staff that they have here, many, many years of experience, really coming together to make sure each one of the pieces are taken care of. They learned early on that they wanted to do everything in-house, in control of the entire project. Let me ask you this. I mean, you've got, like you said, over 2 decades of experience in this industry. You've been awarded throughout the years, pretty much every other year, if not every year. Share with me your latest award that you've been proud of.
Certainly. So this team, with Brandon leading the construction and Kirsten leading the design, put together a project called Farmhouse. It's a LEED Platinum regenerative house that actually generates more energy than it consumes, and it's a beautiful home, very conventional looking. A lot of people, when they think of sustainability, they think, oh, the house has got to look really weird with solar panels going every which way, and that it's not part of the mainstream. What's really important to understand is that sustainability is 100% part of the mainstream at this point, and you can have a house that has no compromises. It can be extraordinary in its beauty, in its budget, in its sustainability, all at the same time.
Obviously, your team has chosen Boulder to make their home in, and you're also sharing the dreams of many people who are building a home here. I understand it's very important for you to give back to community. You're able to do that not only through educating folks, writing books, as well as speaking out there. Tell me why that is important to you.
If all we're doing is building a handful of custom homes for folks, our impact is small. If we're able to get those published and show them to people and use them as teaching tools, and then go out and talk with other architects and builders and engineers and code officials and the general public, then people can see that it's possible, and then the impact of that positive contribution spreads much more widely.
Excellent. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their contact information out there as well. Quite honest, just as simple as a phone call. We will find somebody on the other end of the line for you there that is able to take a project, be it small, large, residential, commercial. You have a team that is an award-winning team. Their contact information is there, located right here in Boulder, Colorado. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here with Infinity Marketing Group. Since 2010, they have been providing the expertise to build your brand while keeping your company in the public eye. I'm here with Jason, CEO. Thanks for joining us here today. Jason, you began the company back 2010. You yourself, though, have quite a bit of experience when it comes to marketing, especially that of mobile marketing. Obviously, your passion is sharing that with a lot of business owners. Tell me how it is you got involved in this type of work.
It actually started out, I've been in digital marketing for about 15 years, decided to go on my own in 2010. We started out as doing mobile websites for companies because at the time they weren't standard with regular websites. Then we started getting requests of, well, can you do a regular website then? So we're like, okay, sure. So we started doing those. We got requests for apps. And then it just kind of started evolving. Social media, SEO, pay-per-click, yeah, I mean, you name it. And so now we're a full-service agency. We have 6 divisions.
Excellent. Speaking of full service, I mean, let's face it, growing a business in any economy is a tough deal. Business owners, they are wearing multiple hats. They have quite a bit on their plate out there. Why is it the marketing area is probably one area that should be left to the professional?
You know, a lot of people, and actually this is a good question, social media is a really good example. A lot of people think because they're on social media like Facebook or Twitter that they understand how it works from the point of view of marketing, and it doesn't. It's the user standpoint is completely different from how and knowing what to do to engage users and getting them to buy your products and things like that. So that's one example. I mean, we could go over through so many, but that's a really good one right there.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, I've interviewed quite a few companies out there, hundreds of business owners. All of them seem to know very much, they're very good at what they do. I mean, chiropractors adjust, stylists style, but when it comes to actually expressing what they do to the public, many times they struggle and have a hard time. Is that what you found as well?
Even the ones who are good at expressing it, they don't have the time. Ultimately, the void that we fill is obviously with expertise, of course, and execution, but we simply do what they can't do in their time. I mean, like you said, chiropractors they're adjusting, dentists are filling, yeah, they're doing what they do best, and they hire us because we can take care of the rest to bring them that business that they need so they can do what they do. And they don't try to do what we do, and we don't try to do what they do. So, yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump into some of these services that you guys provide out there. Let's start off with one of them that's not even a word. We're talking about 3 little letters, SEO. Makes a lot of business owners cringe a little bit. Share with me a little bit how you're able to help them with their search engine optimization.
Yeah, with SEO, we have a great team that does that. We take it from a little bit different approach, actually, too. Don't get me wrong, there's only so many things you can do for SEO the right way without being penalized and whatnot. We have a special system where we actually try to exploit the rankings of different search engines. So the lower ranking ones, Bing, Yahoo, some of these other ones that people haven't heard of, not because we're trying to get them to search on there, because Google is obviously the big player. Sure. But one of the parts of Google's algorithms is that they take a score from other search engines and they apply it to their search engine. So the strategy that we use that's a lot different than others is we actually go and we find our ways to the top of those other search engines, knowing that Google is going to pick that up. So it's kind of the back door, so to speak. Now, we do the traditional SEO as well. You can't not do that. You still have to do content, has to be unique, consistent, relevant, okay? But this is something we add on that gets our rankings above the competition.
So basically taking it up and above of what a lot of folks do out there as well. I mean, quite honestly, like we said earlier, business owners are very busy, but we as consumers, we're busy as well. I mean, when we search on something, it's in and out. We're talking about within 3 seconds, we're looking at the top one there. We don't even have time to even scroll to the bottom many times, much less go to a second page. And so really that's what you're doing, is making sure that these folks, if you're not on the top, you're not even in the game anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of those things where, what was that old saying? If you're second, you're last. Now, with this case, it's second page, you might as well not be on there at all. So yeah, the first page is where you need to go. But one thing to keep in mind is the first page of what keyword, of what search term. There's no first page of Google. Google has millions of pages. It's just a matter of which search term is relevant that's going to drive the traffic for your company, and then being on the first page of that search term. And we can do many search terms. So you could be on many first pages.
Excellent. I mean, like you said earlier, it's really about taking the time that most business owners just don't have that time for. It's not a quick fix when you're talking about search engine. You guys become professionals when it comes to keywords, inbound, outbound links, tags, video optimization, image optimization, and not to mention content is king. These are all areas that you're keeping your client apprised of and making sure they're out there visibly.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's all about content. And that content, which is great, is we can use for other facets of what we do. We can use that content in social media. We can use that content for pay-per-click. We can use that. We can do video. We can do pretty much everything. And everything, the idea is to build a big web of content that they all mix and match, and they all help each other out. Because there is no one specific vertical that's going to do it any justice. You have to be multifaceted in all of it.
Like you said earlier, I mean, obviously Google is the main player. I think most business owners know that. What they don't know about Google is the fact that Google really wants to help you build your business. They have quite a few tools out there that they help you with, be it AdWords, and they are even able to help nonprofits with like that of Google Grants. Share with me a little bit about your knowledge on that.
Google Grants is actually my favorite division. I spend most of my time in that one. We work with only nonprofits for that. The Google Grant is basically $10,000 per month that Google will give in free AdWords. Yeah, it's huge. Up to $40,000 per month for Google Grants Pro. You have to be a 501c3 in good standing, and you have to have a website. As long as you meet those requirements and you're not a school or a hospital, basically, those are just the two main exceptions that they have, but all the other nonprofits qualify. What we do is we go in and we get them the grant. If we don't get them the grant, we charge them nothing. If we do get them the grant, we only charge to manage that grant for them on a monthly basis. And so far, I mean, we have about, I want to say 45 or 50 nonprofits that we do right now. Everyone's happy. I mean, 10 grand a month, and yeah, 10 grand a month in free marketing. I mean, that's 120 grand a year budget that they didn't have before, up to almost $500,000 if we can get them the Google Grants Pro.
you're talking about just one more tool that they're able to use, because like you say in marketing, everything matters.
Yeah. Yeah. One of our biggest clients is American Diabetes Association. Love working with them and all their different offices. We do nonprofits anywhere from Kenyan Food Drive nonprofits. We have Boston Children's Theater. There's ministries, churches and whatnot. I mean, you name it. It's all over the map. So any nonprofit is completely welcome to the program. So yeah, we help out as many as we can.
One of the things a nonprofit is doing all the time is consistently increasing their mission awareness out there. And a lot of times there's a gold mine right there and something that's right underneath their nose, which is emails. Share with me some of the email address, how you're able to utilize that.
Yeah, so a lot of nonprofits, like you said, they one thing we understand about nonprofits, they usually have 25 hours of work in a 24-hour day. And they don't always utilize all the things that they have access to. Their email list is a big deal. I've been an email marketing expert for about 10 years. So what I like to do is if they have a list already built, then we go in and we help them understand how the landing pages work, proper email service providers, and with deliverability rates, we'll even help them write the emails and autoresponders. And this can help pull not just donations out of their email list, but it can also help pull volunteerism. They can help get people to events that they're doing, cause awareness, so there's so many things they can do. So we don't just help them with our services. We help them with things they already have going on. And ultimately, to be honest, a lot of those things that we'll just consult for free. If they're already a client, we don't charge consulting fees. If there's something we see that they're missing that they can do on their own, we have no problem helping them out just to get them going. Because, nonprofits.
Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you can take a look at all the different services they're able to provide out there. Quite honestly, we're talking about a complete arsenal for any company. If you need the entire package, you can do that. They have many clients that do that. But you can also take an a la carte approach and really decide what it is exactly you want to focus on. And if you're not sure, set up a consultation. They can walk you through, see where you're at right now, and basically assess what would be best for your company. You can also take a look at their portfolio, see some of the designs, apps that they've created out there for companies as well. I imagine owners out there who are thinking about bringing on a professional. Maybe they have one, they're not getting the results they're looking for. What you touched on earlier is really what sets you apart. Number one, it's your approach, the way you do things a little bit differently, and also that the cost structure, the way you set that up as well. How have the clients, are they open-minded to that, and are they pretty happy when they see it all come together?
Yeah, they obviously like not having to pay management fees. That's clear. One other thing that we have an advantage of by using the ad networks is we have more information than would come through the regular platform. So these other networks, we can get behavioral stats because they're tracking people all over the internet, not just ones using, let's say, Google or Bing or Yahoo. We combine all the major search engines into one software that we developed for ourselves that lets us see a fuller picture, a bigger one, than we could if we were just doing Google or just doing Yahoo and Bing. So we are able to also target behavioral habits of their clients and get in front of those. So we actually have a little more advantage other than just the pricing structure. We get a much better picture to them.
If there's a company out there who has never hired outside, basically they try to do a few things, dabble around, like you said, just because I use Facebook doesn't mean I understand the back end of it and what goes on. What would you tell folks like that who are thinking about bringing on a professional such as yourself?
Do your due diligence. It doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to be the ones for them either. I would say, let us get on the phone. Let's talk to you. Let us hear what your problems are and how we can help. And ultimately, if you trust us, go with us. If you trust the other guy, go with them. I don't ever want a client coming on kind of 1 foot in. I want them to completely trust that we're going to do the job. And of course, we'll come through for them, but we want to make sure that they're comfortable first. I don't want to force anyone. We're not, very pitchy with our sales stuff. We're not forcing the issue or anything like that. We're not hard salesmen. We're just going to say, hey, here's what you got going on. Here's what we think can help. And we'll also probably give as much free advice as we can for them to help themselves. A lot of times clients will call and they're not sure if they want to hire someone. They just don't know exactly what to do in a particular situation. And honestly, if I can solve that situation for them in 20, 30 minutes on the phone, I'll do it. And then maybe I don't get their business because they've solved it, but I end up getting referrals from that sometimes. They're happy that someone helped them without charging them for it. So we just want to help. And if we're the ones that to do the work, then great.
Wonderful. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their contact information. Like you said, basically you can set up a consultation and basically find out if this is a good fit for you. Obviously, it's been a great fit for many companies out there, especially when it comes to nonprofits. The guys bring a lot of experience to the table. They've got an entire team, not only here locally, but across different time zones, making sure that your account is serviced 24/7. This is a company that began in 2010. That is Infinity Marketing Group. Infinite exposure, infinite profits. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.